When you think of history and revolutions, what do you think of? Slavery, women's rights, LGBTQ plus rights could be some of the few. But whether you know it or not, there's another movement in the making, the vegan movement. Veganism is a lifestyle in which you cause the least amount of harm as practically possible for your food and clothing. You might have heard of militant vegans or extremists on the news labeled as terrorists. But if you think about it, is a terrorist someone who causes terror or tries to stop it? If you think that people that try to stop a Holocaust are terrorists, then who are the people who support it? Because the thing is that in order for a slaughterhouse or animal breeding ground to exist, they have to treat the animals terribly for their short 2-year life. Constantly being confined, when you're confined, the animals have no wiggle room. They're in cages locked right next to each other as they cannot move, they're just stagnant there for their whole life. Could you go a day without moving, being locked in a cage? How would you feel if that was you? Their life consists of constantly being raped for their semen to then forcibly impregnate the females of the species so that they will have kids and those kids will be fattened up or be impregnated to have more animals so that they can be then slaughtered viciously and sold to the masses. Do you really support this? Every time you buy it, pig flesh, you are supporting animals being raped and held down in cages. Is this truly what it means to be humane? If taking their rights away, locking them in cages, and slaughtering them for 30 seconds of food and taste, and that doesn't constitute a holocaust, then what does? 70 billion land animals are slaughtered every year for the sole purpose of feeding greedy people who want a different type of taste and are willing to sacrifice a life for 30 minutes of taste. Then again, 2.7 trillion marine animals are killed every year for that same purpose. Now, there have been people pretending to be vegan and vegetarian but still eat fish. But just because a fish lives in the ocean, that doesn't mean they don't experience pain, aren't sentient, don't have emotions, can't tell and can't feel pain and suffering. Whenever you kill a fish, they both value their life just as much as a cow, pig, any human. They want to live, and they don't want to be killed and put in your burger or salad or sandwich. Fish, however, have some of the worst deaths, as they're taken from the wildlife or sometimes even farmed, because fish are being taken out of the ocean so much that people are going to have to start to farm them, and they already have because of the demand for fish. They're suffocated alive as they suffocate and drown and die. And then they're ripped open for their female's eggs, and then they're sold and packaged away for you to buy. Do you really want this for other animals? If you were in that position, slaughtered, taken out of your habitat, if someone came to your house, took you, and killed you to sell to someone else, how would you react? What if that was your sibling, your brother, your mom, or your dad? What if that were you, held down, put overcrowded in a slaughterhouse truck, seeing your brothers and sisters, being able to smell them, being able to hear them, crowded, with barely any air holes? This is the time, in that truck, is the only time you look outside. You actually see the sun, you see the ground. That's the only time you're actually outside of a shed. And that is a short time, as you'll then be put into a slaughterhouse, gas chamber, and then killed. So, how can you demise such an innocent, cute animal to this sort of fate? This fate is what's waiting for them at the end of their life. As they ride in that slaughterhouse truck, they can smell their species in that truck. They can smell them as they stand in their own poop and defecate because of how scared they are and because they know that they're not going to come back. as they haven't seen their species come back after they've been brought onto that truck. They're then pushed out and thrown into the slaughterhouse as they're then put in a metal cage again, and they put into a gas chamber full of CO2, in which that is a common way of stunning someone, a gas chamber, just like the Nazis did it. I bet you wouldn't have this sort of cruel abuse and treatment done to even the worst person you know, your greatest enemy. This is worse than death. This is exploitation, slavery, abuse, rape, and then death. That is what animal agriculture is. Would you do this just for one burger or fried chicken or fried fish when that can be easily substituted with vegan alternatives that taste just as good but with no murdered animal corpse in it? No one had to die. No one had to be raped. If that isn't injustice, cruelty, and abuse, then what is? What would you define all these other horrors you might think of? Wars. This is worse than a war. This is subjugate and controlled slaughter, controlled slavery, controlled rape, and controlled abuse by humans, the oppressors. You might think that you're all so great, or that humans are the epitome of species. But is it really, even if you do believe that, is that really the best way to spend your time? Killing innocent animals for a burger? If when there's tons upon tons of vegan restaurants, vegetarian restaurants coming up, if you downloaded the Happy Cow app, you could find vegan restaurants with cruelty-free food around you. It's not that hard to be vegan now. If you were the victim and you were the one being raped and tortured, stepped on, kicked because you won't go into your cage, because you won't get onto the slaughterhouse truck or get off, because you didn't move or you didn't produce semen that day, is that the way we subjugate and kill? Is that what you want to be a part of? Do you really think this cruel treatment of others, this horrid and destructive way of living, will have no consequences? Well, 70% of deforestation is due to grow food and soy and corn for animals. Then we can imprison them and fatten them up so that we can get one little steak. Deforestation has had ocean dead zones. There's no fish in the ocean anymore because we've pulled all of them out, and now we're farming them and letting them die. How do you think these ecosystems will be? How will the world be for your children or your children's children? What will happen then? Will we still be living the nice lives we do now? If we don't change now, then our world will be destroyed. And change starts with you. You can change. Today, when you go to breakfast, lunch, or dinner, for the next week, for the next month, don't subjugate and kill animals for 10 minutes of taste, of mere taste, one's whole existence in slavery and rape for taste. Simply buy a vegan option, one in your supermarket, store, restaurant, whatever it is. You can save lives and your environment, and you can save next generation's humans' lives without them having to be dead on a planet that can't house us anymore. And finally, what you really have to think about, if you think that you're an ethical human being, you're allowed to make choices. You can change. You can be either the destruction of our planet, of our animals, of their kids, of your kids, next future generations of humans, turtles, fish, cows, sheep, lambs. You can either cause their destruction or cause greatness. And if you were the victim in that slaughterhouse truck, about to die, be sent off to death, what would you want people to do? Continue supporting it or change for the better? Thank you for watching.